Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's all go ahead and begin on page 196 with the words of Elohai Neshama. God, the soul that you have given me is pure, and you breathed it into me and restored it to me every morning, and with that we are thankful. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata verata, ata yetzarta, ata nefachta bi. Ve'ata meshamra bekirbi. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi tehorahi. How lovely are your tents, your dwelling places, your sanctuaries, O Jacob. Let us continue on page 192 with words of Matovu. And at any time, if you feel like singing along or clapping along, please feel free to do so. I'll know you're singing along because I'll see your masks moving. You know? Let's begin. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Vani verov chastecha, ahavo veitecha, eshtach vel heichal kodshecha, behiratecha, matovu, matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, matovu, matovu, ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We are so glad to welcome all of you, Page's family here, as well as everyone, family and friends who are watching us online on our live stream. And it is now my pleasure to invite up Paige to lead us in the Nisim B'chol Yom, the blessings for daily miracles found on page 198.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, who frees the captive.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim, who lifts up the fallen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Rokah haaretz al hamayim, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin metzadei gaver, who strengthens our steps.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim, who clothes the naked.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayef koach, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavir shenai me'enai, utnuma me'af apai, who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzelem Elohim, who made me in the image of God.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani bat chorin, who has made me free.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael, who has made me a Jew.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael bigvura, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Oter Yisrael betifara, who crowns Israel with splendor.
Amen.
We continue with the Haftarah, page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועל מה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קר ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתהלם ויתהלל שמי לקודשה. בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירון ועלמה ואמרו אמן.
We stand for the Baruch on page 226.
Yai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Let's all try that. Praise Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. We join together in singing. Ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 We thank God for creating day and night by separating light from darkness, page 228. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei choshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Let's continue with the English reading at the bottom of page 229. You are praised, who rolls out the rough, raw clay of the universe into delicate vessels of light, and from nothing at all we could perceive in a world that has turned old a shimmering new creation right before our eyes, made this moment just for us. How much of life reveals your presence? How much Torah unfolds from each new flower, from each new wave that breaks upon the sea? You are praised, who forms from the clay that cloaks our lives the delicate vessels which contain our light. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu mehera leoro. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer hameorot.
We continue on page 230 as Paige leads us in the prayer.
How deeply you have loved us, Adonai our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears, whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us, by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah, focus our minds on your mitzvot, unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth, and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us, truly, you drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praise be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love.
Baruch atah Adonai, abocher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed.
Please be seated as Paige continues leading us on page 234 in Haftarah.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
Emet. We turn to page 239 as Paige will lead us on the bottom of the page and we'll read responsively the indented sections.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. We continue with Michamoha, page 240.
Yai lai lai la lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha, who is like you from among the gods, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, noga tehilot osef ele, noga tehilot osef ele. שירה חדשה שימחו גאולים לשמחה לשפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדחנו מכה יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. Baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
We stand as we turn to page 242 for the Amidah.
Adonai, Sephai Taif Titach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu, Velohei Avotenu V'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak,
Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah.
Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevigula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Choser U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah.
Amen.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal.
Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר.
מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך,
מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה.
ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
And we continue with the Kedoshah. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וכרז אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו, אדוני אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני, ממקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה, 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 הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני האל, האל הקדוש. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated, and we continue with Yismechu, the top of page 250.
Let's all clap our hands. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם ישמעו ויתנו מקודשך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת השבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית, זכר למעשה וראשית. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
We turn to page 258 for Sim Shalom, a blessing of peace.
שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. חן וחסד ורחמים, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל עמך. Let's all try that. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. ברכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד מאור פניך. כי ואור פניך, כי ואור פניך נתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, תורת חיים ואהבת ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה וברכה וחיים ושלום ושלום. Join with me. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. חן וחסד ורחמים, חן וחסד ורחמים, חן וחסד ורחמים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עמך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה בעולם. ברכנו יוצרנו כולנו כאחד ביום פניך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We now take time for our own silent prayers, thoughts, and meditations.
Let's continue together with these meditative words in the middle of page 260. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer.
It is now the time in the service for Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service of the reading of the Torah, and this is the part where Paige will be coming up to join us in just a moment, and she will read from not only the Torah scroll, but Paige will get to read from 2 Torah scrolls. She was originally scheduled to read a different Torah portion, and on changing her date, made the commitment to learning this week's Torah portion as well, and so we are going to have a created double Torah portion for Paige this morning. She'll be reading both from this week's Torah portion, Ki Tavo, and also from the Torah portion, Tazria. So we are in for a treat and learning lots and lots of Torah. On Thursday night, just the other day, Paige was able to hold her press conference at religious school. And so with all of our 6th and 7th graders who were there for B'nai Mitzvah class, she taught us lots and lots about this week's Torah portion as her new Torah portion. And we look forward to learning all together the words of wisdom that Paige will bring to us today. So we'll continue with the service on page 362 with Ein Kamocha.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, vein kemasecha, malechutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
Please stand as we open the ark.
Av harachamim heitiv avirtzonecha et Sion tivnei chomot Yerushalayim tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki v'chal levad batachnu melech ercham v'nisa Adon olamim Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Udevar Adonai mirushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Gadol Shemo Galul Adonai iti Uneromema Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai Hagidullah V'hagivurah V'hatiferet V'hanetzach V'hahod Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. That one first. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai ha'mamlacha ve'haminaseh lechol lechosh.
Please be seated.
So for those of you who have your familial packets, your pamphlets, correct? Your programs? All right, will you go ahead and open, I think it's the inside page to the Torah portion. And see what I did there? Inside page. There you go. And Paige is going to be reading first from Parashat Tazria, which is a Torah portion that talks about skin disease and what causes skin disease and how appropriate that portion about illness and disease is unfortunately too appropriate for these times. However, we go ahead and we push on as Tazria goes ahead and teaches us. So we invite up for our first Aliyah Ryan Gaspar and Emily McIntyre. Yamon Ruben ben Sava Beim Tamon Chalabekar Shalamasha Yamdu Rishon
got it muted? Okay. All right, I'll follow your lead, okay?
No, you start.
Okay.
Turn it off,
Ready?
Jim. Turn it off.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam. Bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el bnei Yisrael lemor. Isha ki tazria ve'alda zachar ve'toma shivat yamim ki mei nidat devota titma uvayom hashemini yimol besar arlato ushloshim yom ushloshet yamim teshev bidmei tohora bechol kodesh lo tiga ve'el hamikdash lo tavo ad melot yemei tohora v'im nikva teled ve'toma shevuayim kenidata ve'shishim yom ve'sheishet yamim teshev al demei tohora uvimelot Yemei Tohora Levein Olevat Tavi Keves Ben Shenato Leola Uvin Yona Otor Lechatat El Petach Ohel Moed El HaKohen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. That was probably one of the best in person, over the phone aliyot we have had. Yashir Koach. Beautiful. Aliyah number 2, we have all on one FaceTime call from our Chicago and Colorado family members, represented and assisted by Paige's father, Daniel. Let's see, here we go. Ta'amod Yehudit Joan Katai, Yamod Yochanan Pete Katai, Ta'amod Devorah Debbie Katai, Ta'amod Vered Lindsay Katai, Yamod Zacharia Zach Katai, Ya'amod Greg Katai, Ta'amod Chanadina Alisa Katai, Yamdu Sheni. Right up to the mic.
Okay, you guys ready? Go ahead. Turn it off.
It's okay, I could hear myself again.
You guys are, let's go.
That's the last one.
You guys ready? Go.
1, 2, 3.
It's okay, I can hear myself again.
Can you guys go? Now.
1, 2, 3.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch מכל העמים ונעלנו אל תורתך נותן התורה.
Amen.
Amen. Vehikrivo lifnei Adonai vechiper aleha v'tohora mimekor dameha zot torat heoledet lazachar olanekeva vimlo timtza yada dese velakcha shete torim o shenei bnei yona echad leola vechad lechatat vechiper aleha hakohen vetahera vayedaber Adonai el Moshe ve'el Aharon lemor Adam ki yihye ve'or besaro se'et o sapachat o baheret ve'haya ve'or besaro lenega tzarat ve'huva el Aharon hakohen o el achad mibanav
HaKohanim. Good job. Put it down.
אשר נתן אמת וחטא olam נתנו ברוך אתה
Amen. Yasher koach. I'll tell you, from people being in Chicago and Colorado at the same time, that was pretty good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was wonderful. Okay, and for our third aliyah, our final aliyah from the Tazria reading, we have proud parents, Carrie and Dan Katai. Tamod Chedva bat Sarah v'Jim, Yamod Daniel ben Yehudit ve'Andrew, Yamdu Shlishit.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vera'ahu hakohen et hanega ve'or habasar ve'se'ar banega hafach lavan ve'amad umareh hanega amad beinav Amad be'or besaro negat saratu ve'ahu hakohen ve'timeh oto ve'imlo v'imaheret levanahi ve'or besaro ve'amok ein mar'eha min ha'or Use'ara lo hafach lavan vehiskir hakohen et hanega shivat yamim vera'ahu hakohen bayom hashevi vehine hanega amad beinav lo fasa hanega ba'or vehiskiro hakohen shivat yamim
Shenit.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
And now, with Torah in our midst, as we are about to change over the books of the Torah for Paige to read the second part of her Torah portion, we take a moment to say Mishaberach, to think of a prayer of healing, a healing of mind and body and of soul. At this time, we wish a refuah shlema, a speedy recovery, to Bill Adler, Stacy Adler, Gershon Ben Miriam, Max Goldberg, Tina Gomberg, Hallie Gratis, Richard Herbig, Jerry Ippolito, Dan Kabilka, Label David Ben Sarah Leah, Stacy Megalitis, Deborah Peskin, Rabbi J. Adele Plotkin, Cooper Romanelli, Don Rosenblum, Sally Rosenblum, Jordan Schoen, Michael Peeler-Smith, Kathy Sudhalter, Barbara Traum, Jim Unruh, Robin Wolf, Rachmiel Tzvi Ben Devora, and Yosef Ben Miriam. If you are thinking of anyone else who is in need of healing, I invite you to share their names right now, out loud, or in the chat on YouTube. Mishaberach avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzhak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel ve'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim shelanu, HaKadosh Baruch hu yimale rachamim alehem, lechach alimam u'lerapotam u'lechachazikam, v'yishlach lahem mehera refuah, refuah shlema min hashamayim, refuat hanefesh u'refuat haguf, hashtabagala u'vizmahan kariv, V'nomar Amen. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us all together say, Amen. For Paige's final reading, her fourth aliyah, she'll be reading from Parshat Kitavo. And you can find that at the bottom of your packet.
And now for our fourth aliyah this morning, being called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. Paige, what's your middle name? Paige Kehilah Katai. Tamod. Habachura bat mitzvah, Sarah bat Daniel v'chedva, bat mitzvah, chazak, 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 v'nitchazek.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambrach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'chatavta al havanim et kol divrei haTorah hazot ba'er hetev. Vayedaber Moshe v'hakohanim halevim el kol Yisrael lemor hasket ushma Yisrael hayom hazeh nihiyeta le'am l'Adonai Elohecha v'shamata b'kol Adonai Elohecha v'asita et mitzvotav ve'et hukav asher anochi metzavecha
Hayom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. Rabbi, would you like to go ahead and, I believe it's on the page before the Mishaberach, give a special Mishaberach for the reading of the Aliyah?
Yes. So, page in honor of you becoming a bat mitzvah. Mi sheberach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et Sarah bat Daniel v'Chedva. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless Paige Sheila Katai, daughter of Daniel and Carrie Katai. Since she has come up to the Torah in honor of God and Torah, may she merit from the Holy One a blessing, protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, from any illness, minor or serious. May God send blessing and success in her every endeavor, together with all Israel, and let us say,
Amen. Let us now stand as the Torah is raised and dressed.
Page 370.
Vezot haTorah asher sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, tziva lanu Moshe. Torah tziva lanu Moshe, Torah tziva lanu Moshe. You may be seated.
And we will now continue with Paige's Haftarah. Correct, Cantor?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Haftarah, as you just heard, Paige chanted from the Torah flawlessly. And in addition to her Torah portion, Paige has learned to chant from the next third of the Hebrew Bible, called the Nevi'im, the books of the prophets, that the Haftarah is derived from many, 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 many years ago when the Second Temple stood. it was highly illegal and actually treason to be studying and chanting Torah in public. So the rabbis had to go ahead and develop a new way for chanting Torah. So they found that the prophets actually talk about the weekly parshiot in many of their visions. And so in this week's prophetic vision, which comes from Isaiah chapter 61 through 22, Isaiah actually talks about many of the things that are found in Parashat Kitavo, which is why they assigned this particular prophetic passage as Haftarah to the Torah portion. So let's begin with the blessings over the reading of the Haftarah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hana'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Kumi ori kiva orech uchvod Adonai alayich zarach ki hinei hachoshech yachasei eretz va'arafel leumim ve'alayich yizrach Adonai uchevudo alayich yareh ve'halchu goim leorech umlachim lenagazarchech sei saviv enaich uri kulam nikbetzu v'alach banaich merachok yavou uvnotaich al tzad te'amana az tiri venahart ufachad verachav levavech ki hafech alayich hamon yam chel goim yavou lach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzor kol haolamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el hana'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber u'mkayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanevim ve'al yom haShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi chol chai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Can I have a big Yasher Koach on the count of three? 1, 2, 3. Yasher Koach. So Paige, you have completed the chanting portion of your bat mitzvah, and now it's time for you to teach us a little bit, a bisala, as they go ahead and say in Yiddish, of Torah from this week's portion, Parashat Kitavo. Talked about that at 3, remember? Okay, cool. All right, go for it. Nice and loud.
Shabbat Shalom. Not many people have been able to say that they've read from 2 Torah portions during their bar or bat mitzvah, but as you saw earlier, I'm one of those lucky people now. Thanks, Corona. My first 3 aliyot were from the portion Tazria in the book of Leviticus. Tazria talked about rules relating to impurity. Since COVID-19 happened, my bat mitzvah date was changed from April 25th to today, September 5th, and I related to this week's portion much more. This portion is Kitavo in the book of Deuteronomy. It is said in Israel when the Israelites are about to settle into their new land. So there are still many things that the people have to do. At the beginning of Kitavo, Moses commands everyone to give away 1/10 of their first fruit harvest as a sacrifice. The fruits were then distributed to the strangers, widowed, orphaned, and homeless so that they had enough to eat. These were called tithings. The Israelites would be blessed by following God's commandments and cursed if they didn't. The part of Ketavo that really stood out to me was chapter 26, line 16 of Deuteronomy, and it says, "This day the Lord your God is commanding you to fulfill these statutes and ordinances, and you will observe and fulfill them with all your heart and with all your soul." These words describe how people are supposed to feel when they give or do something for others. It talks about how even though God is commanding the people to give, they still have to give with intention, no matter what. This is a good lesson for people because if someone tells you to give to others and you are only doing it because you have to, the people you are giving to may not feel as appreciated as they would have if you gave to them with good intentions. This Torah portion was interesting to me because I have some instances where I connected to what the Israelites were going through. For example, in Ketavo, the Israelites were told to give their first fruit to those in need by Moses to give thanks to God. In my life, I've been told to help people who are less fortunate than me by my parents and teachers. Most of the time, I did these things just because I was told by someone to do them. This past year, my mom wanted me to volunteer somewhere at her school, so I started volunteering at her school's library. I was with first graders and reshelved books, checked books in and out, and helped the librarian keep everything in order. This was the first time that I took full responsibility for helping others. I wasn't just doing it because my mom and dad told me to. I did it because I wanted to do it, and because it made me feel independent and helpful to know that I was helping the librarian and all of the first graders on purpose. It was fun for me, and sometimes I didn't really want to leave. This Torah portion teaches people to do things with purpose and intention, and not to do good deeds just because someone else wants you to. Now I'm considered an adult in the eyes of the Jewish community. To me, being a Jewish adult means that I should learn from the people in my past. I should remember and respect everyone who came before me, the people who made these traditions that we practice today, and learn from everything they've done, mistakes and all. I think that since I've become a bat mitzvah, I need to pass these traditions down too. My family has been a part of the Jewish community for many, many generations, and I want my own children to be able to be a part of all the traditions and lessons that their ancestors celebrated. Becoming a bat mitzvah has also reminded me that I should do more good deeds and help more people. As I've been going through my long journey to be here today, I thought about how my parents have wanted me to become a bat mitzvah, but now I've realized how important this moment is to me too. Now I would like to thank everyone who helped me to be able to stand up here today. First, my mom, who always motivated me to practice my aliyot and prayers, and my dad, who always drove me to my b'nai mitzvah classes and let me practice in the car on the way. You were both such amazing parents, and I love you so much. And Grant, thank you for being a great brother that I actually like most of the time. Thank you to all my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins for loving me and supporting me. Thank you so much to my Sunday school teachers and Stacy Rosenthal, who helped me learn what it means to be Jewish and also helped me read Hebrew. Thank you, Cantor, for giving me all of my recordings and for making services fun and special with your music. Thank you to Mrs. Berman and Maura Robin for helping me with the prayers that I chanted today. Thank you to Hannah, who tutored me on my aliyot in the library. Thank you, Rabbi Mason Barkin, for helping me with this speech and to understand my Torah portion better. Thank you, Jason, for filling in for my bat mitzvah today. And thank you so much to everyone who is watching this live stream. There are people from Illinois, Washington, Oregon, New York, California, Colorado, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Minnesota, Arizona, and Rhode Island. And I want to thank you for supporting me, even though you couldn't be here in person.
And
Thank
with
you,
all,
and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, and with all the love, not only from everyone here in person, but with everyone online and watching, it is now my pleasure to invite up Paige's parents, Dan and Carrie, to share some words with us all.
I said the mask acts as a good tissue. All right, Paige, your dad and I are so proud of you and all of the hard work you put into everything you do, your bat mitzvah included. You've always been such a mature and positive role model for your brother, your classmates, and your younger cousins and neighbors. You are an incredibly creative and quiet observer of the world around you. You save your true self for those who know you best. Your dad and I have always appreciated how adaptable you are in every situation. You've always been a mature and positive role model for so many people in your life. Year after year, your teachers tell us how much they enjoy having you as a student in their classes. You are a quiet leader who is often chosen by your teachers and peers to lead group projects, or, as has happened in many cases, whether you wanted to or not, even do the whole thing by yourself. From a young age, you've been such a great role model for Grant and all of your younger family and friends.
We've always been blown away by your creativity. It is amazing that you already know that you're passionate about graphic design. In fact, some might be impressed to hear that you already have a mini internship as a graphic designer, making online flyers for Mom's school. You quietly and constantly observe the world around you. You have a mature and intelligent sense of humor that you save for those who know you best. Finally, you've always been so adaptable and easygoing. You go with the flow in all aspects of life. When we told you that your bat mitzvah date would have to change and that the party would have to be canceled due to COVID, you weren't upset. You understood, and you accepted it. All of these qualities will take you far in life. We hope that you continue to be an incredible, kind, and loving individual that you are. Hopefully, you will continue all these special Jewish traditions that have been passed on to you by generations before you. We love you so much, and we're very proud of you.
Okay, and now we have a couple of gifts for you. Not the Lysol, that we'll save that for later. We have lots and lots of things. I want to first start with our certificate that we all just signed in the office before, that announces and certifies that Sarah bat Daniel v'chedva, Paige Kehilah Katai, was called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah on Shabbat Kitavo, September 5th, 2020, in the presence of Congregation Beth Israel, and signed by all of us and by Paige and her parents to acknowledge this day. We have lots of certificates. We have a certificate page in honor of you becoming a bat mitzvah, establishing the Paige Katai B'nai Tzedek Youth Philanthropy Fund, something that hopefully will inspire you, just like you were talking about, all of the ways of giving, to continue giving and having an impact on those in the world around you. That is now set up. We have some coupons, gift certificates to Camp Stein's big trip that hopefully you'll have the opportunity to go on in just a couple of years to join our congregation in Israel, as well as a certificate to Camp Stein up in Prescott. So we have this. We have a tree planted in your honor in Israel, as well as your Kiddush cup engraved with your name and honoring this date. So with all of those gifts, it is now time for us to bestow blessings, not only on behalf of me and Cantor, but on behalf of all of the clergy and staff and Stacy Rosenthal, the religious school, all of your teachers. I invite everyone to please stand as we open the Ark.
And we'll invite Daniel and Carrie to join us. יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו. תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו. הללויה, הללויה. עץ חיים היא למה חזיקים בה ותומכיך מאושר דרכיך דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיך שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם. So Paige and family, I'm going to have you take about one more little step. Before Jason reads some special words for you, I want to just say how proud I am of the absolutely tremendous amount of work you have done in preparation for today. Since day one, you stepped up to the plate, and you continuously stepped up to the plate, and it really showed here today. I know, and you mentioned it, I know that today looked very different than maybe how you imagined it. For example, I know we all expected Rabbi Mason Barkin to go ahead and be here, and we had the wonderful opportunity to have Jason pinch hit for her. And even though she's not physically here, I promise you, I'm sure she's watching right now, knowing my colleague,
I
knowing
can
our
confirm
colleague.
she is.
She is watching.
You can wave to
We're
her.
giving you a big wave. And I know that she enjoyed being on this journey with you just as I have. So she has prepared some words for you that Jason will deliver on her behalf.
So the words of Rabbi Mason Barkin. Paige, first of all, I want to say just how proud I am to see you, from right up there, become a bat mitzvah today. And while I am very sorry and sad that I cannot be with you in person, I'm watching right now on YouTube. If you turn around and wave, I promise I am waving back. Secondly, I'm so impressed with the way that you have worked over the last 6 months, not only to learn everything you needed to know for your bat mitzvah, but the way that you have managed the unknown nature of everything happening right now. The first time we met was nearly 6 months ago, when we had absolutely no idea that we will still be living in the era of COVID-19 when this day came. But every step of the way, you have adapted, adjusted, and prioritized what is most important about becoming a bat mitzvah. It felt really important to you to be able to read from the Torah, to be in this sanctuary, to be with your immediate family. And so, despite the world being in quite a topsy-turvy state, you have accomplished absolutely everything you set out to do today, and you have done so with intelligence and with grace. You have handled the curveball of your rabbi getting benched the day before your bat mitzvah with compassion and understanding. I think you took the news better than I did. Paige, it is no surprise that you have moved through this situation with grace. You are, after all, a dancer. You shared with me over a warbling FaceTime chat an old-fashioned phone call that you love to dance, especially jazz and ballet, and you have done so since kindergarten. And you don't do it for the competition, but rather because you love it. You love the music, you love the stage, you love to move. Paige, you are a person who is always on her toes. Whether you are dancing or walking or talking or chanting Torah, you have an eye on what comes next and drive to complete the task. You felt the rush of accomplishment each time you checked off a prayer and each time you learned a new line of Torah. The good news is that when it comes to Judaism, there is always more to learn. There are always new skills to master. And perhaps next you'll be chanting Torah for the high holidays. Am I right, Cantor?
Oh, you are right, Rabbi Mason Barkin.
And perhaps someday you will want to study famous Jewish ballerinas or learn more about Israeli folk dance. There's a cool place in Tel Aviv I'll have to tell you about. As we talked about yesterday, I hope that you will continue with Mayan so that you can always find new Jewish doorways to open and pathways to dance down. Today is just the very beginning of what I know will be a beautiful Jewish journey. And we are so excited to be here for you the whole way. Mazel Tov, Paige. We now share with you these words of blessing.
So put your arms around each other. Yevarech Adonai ve'yishmerech.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elaich v'chunaich.
May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yis Adonai panav elaich ve'yasem lach shalom. Shalom.
May you continue to feel God's presence with you always, all the days of your life. And together we say,
Amen. Ve'yasem lach shalom. Shalom. Amen. And we join together in singing Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov and Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Yehelanu. You may be seated. Just kidding. We're going to go ahead and remain standing for the Aleinu.
we continue on page 586.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, lateit gedula leotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegoch aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
It is with our deepest sympathies that we note the passing of the following people who were recently laid to their eternal rest. Eli Elgazer, the brother of Claire Marzuk, Toby Lisker Lintz, the mother of Stephen Lisker, and David Hunenberg. At this time, if you are thinking of anyone else who we are remembering, I invite you to share their names out loud or in the chat. Zichronal Livracha, may their memories all be for a blessing. We join together in the words of Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach eruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayed d'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagalal v'zman kariv v'imru
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yidramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kedoshah
B'richu.
Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Da miran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
So before we join together for Kiddush and Motzi that Grant is going to go ahead and join us for, we invite you to symbolically put your arms around your neighbor as we conclude today with a prayer for peace. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimhomav ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Amen. Grant, will you grab that Kiddush cup underneath? And we're going to have Paige grab the challah underneath that as well. Okay. And let's join together with Paige, Grant, and their entire family in words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim. And let us now join in words of Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam amotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon, Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom, and thank you all for joining us in person, and thank you all for joining us all over the country, Colorado, Chicago, wherever you were, we felt your presence here. And thank you, Rabbi Mason Barkin, for joining us as well. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
It's a plastic wrap. Sure. You're on deck, buddy. Officially rocked. Perfect. Perfect.